Are you doing any like TV promotional material?
Yeah,
like,
they did the Daily Show tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, isn't that
God,
crazy?
that's gonna be so exciting for them.
Yeah. And he's so handsome too, and he has dimples, so we're like, we're gonna be like, hey, you got dimples? How much were your dimples? Because I paid mine. I paid for Telemundo paid for mine. Who paid for yours?
And we're back. It's You Up with Nikki Glaser. Irene Morales is here. And now Arturo Castro from Alternatino with Arturo Castro, which premieres tomorrow, Tuesday, June 18th at 10:30 on Comedy Central. Congratulations.
Thank you. So excited.
Are you so excited? Tomorrow's the premiere of your first headlining TV show. It's your show. What are you feeling?
Well, my family all flew in from Guatemala, so we went on a boat ride yesterday. Like, I rented out a boat, which is the most Caucasian thing I've ever done. It was a sailboat.
Where did the boat go?
It went around like the Statue of Liberty at a sunset tour, and they're just so stoked, man. I'm so By this point, it's just surreal. Like, I think I'm sorry. I stressed myself out to the point of now I'm calm. You know what I mean? I'm just like, just happy about it now,
Yeah.
Like the month before it premieres, like, oh my God. And now I'm just like, whatever,
what were the worries? Yeah. What was the month before? What are some of the things
you're still editing, man. You're living in a vacuum. So like, you're like, what is funny anymore? Like, what is comedy?
God.
What, like, why are my V-necks so deep? There's questions that I ask myself constantly.
Isn't editing the worst? It is not fun.
No,
I do not like it.
And it's like this second shaving it off, like what this affects the whole show. It's a house of cards,
Yes.
And then you're like, nobody like noticed whether the curtains were blue or green, but like you have like 15 emails about it.
That is the thing. I was just telling, we had Tony Halen here, and I was talking about I'm editing. I taped a Netflix special like a month ago, and edits were due on it like last week, and I could not. I can't do it. Yeah. I kept pushing it off. Is his mic on? Sorry, I think he's off now. I kept pushing it and being like, I'll get it to you later, because I'm just like didn't want to do it. Mm-hmm. And then it finally came time where it was like it was due, and I just couldn't. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I will not do it. I don't like watching myself. I can't handle it.
Well, imagine it's 45 sketches, so it's like a schizophrenic version of like 45 different versions of you,
Yes.
And it's like, it just comes to a point where you're in such a vacuum, and you edit in dark places. Funny. So you walk out, and suddenly like you start marketing. You're like, oh, it's a show that I shot and I created, And so now comes sort of the fun part where you get to talk about it and stuff. But like editing can be a really torturous process.
It is.
Yeah.
And 45 sketches. So this is a sketch show that moves really quickly.
Characters.
Yeah. I mean, this is a show that you pitched to them. You created yourself.
Yeah, I pitched them to. Yeah, like in 2015, I was doing this like Ang Lee film that nobody watched. It was like this really serious drama, and I was like, I really need to laugh. So I took a pen and a paper, and I was like, I need to write some sketches. So I did, and I thank you so much.
Had you ever written sketches before? Had you been trained?
Not really. No.
I love that.
But it was like I just wrote down what I thought was funny, and then I partnered up with a writer that knew about structure. And then I pitched it to them. They bought it as a web series first, so it was on cc.com.
Yeah.
That's why it says second season.
Got it.
It's very confusing out there because like everybody, it already has like an IMDb rating, and I was like, it's not out yet,
Yeah.
And then we did 2 seasons online, and then they picked it up to pilot, and then they picked it up to series, and now we're here with posters and stuff.
Well, there's a
there's
lot
posters.
There's posters.
There's a billboard in Times Square, like a changing billboard, right? I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine. There's a billboard that like has different images that cycle through different shows that are coming up, and you're one of those. So you have to wait for it, but then you're on screen for like 7 seconds.
And you have to take a video right there. And
right
I used
there.
To be,
But you know what? What you're saying stands out to me is that first of all, you had no sketch writing experience, which a lot of people that get into sketches like you feel like, oh, I have to go through the whole course at UCB and learn everything. I remember Amy Schumer too with her sketch show. Had no sketch experience. You're fine. You can cough all you want.
Wait, I'm good.
And I remember she was like, yeah, I've never written sketches before, but I'll figure it out. And like obviously that's one of the best sketch shows ever. So there are things that you just think you have to like follow some kind of rule book when you get into this business, but you've broken out of that. And also the idea of having a web series, a lot of times people are like, well, it's just a web series, never going to lead to a show. Guess what? It can, and it does.
That's how Broad City started. Too.
Yeah. And Broad City, how did you end up meeting those girls?
I auditioned for it, actually. I was the only one that had sort of like, they knew everybody else on that show. And then I auditioned in this really dark room called NY Casting. So it was my first pilot audition, you know, not for lack of trying, you know, like my first role on a TV show was The Good Wife, a character called Dishwasher Juan. And I was like, how many Juans were there, man? Was there like Dr. Juan and Firefighter Juan? Like, call me one or the other, you know?
Yeah, it's redundant.
So there was like nobody, there was nobody really doing cool stuff out there. And so auditioned for in this little tiny room, and I was like, this can't be a TV show. And then the callback was the Comedy Central, which is like sort of intimidating glass offices. And then I was like, oh shit, it is for real. And then I walked in, and Abby and Alana were there, and they were just like so encouraging. And then Abby, after I finished, she was like, I want to see you do it again, just because I want to see you do it again. And I was like, nailed it, got it.
God.
And then it started Broad City, and then sort of like,
I mean, that's awesome. Well, that is awesome, because I assumed that you had known them before, because they do seem to bring in all of their friends to have made this, and
well, I don't have any friends, so that's my key to this business, you know. I already know.
No connection.
No, and they created this beautiful character based on Abby's best friend Jaime. And so I met him. His voice is deeper than like the character I did. So he talks a little more like this, papi, like he's all like, and he's like super fashion conscious, you know. And I was like, oh, it's a little funnier if we like hike up the voice a little bit like this, you know. And then I got to go learn comedy from them, because I was doing dramatic theater before that. Yeah.
You weren't doing any comedy?
Well, that's what I wanted to tell you. So you know that ad in Times Square? I used to be a street performer there in that corner for this thing called The Ride. Do you know The Ride? They parodied in the other two. Basically, it's this tour bus, and there's like street performers, and this tour bus. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I was that guy on that corner, and now there's a picture of me.
Wait, The Ride
for
is
7 seconds.
They drive around Manhattan, and then there's like street performers that like all of a sudden
we pretend to be
mobs.
civilians. Yeah, exactly. We pretend to be civilians, and suddenly it's like, wait, I'm the New Year's Eve guy, so let's count down New Year's Eve thing, you know? And you like try not to get punched by tourists walking by. And so to me, it was a real surreal moment of like having that picture up there. And then after that, I was just doing a bunch of dramatic theater. So comedy was really Broad City that sort of I stumbled into that, you know?
Yeah, I remember.
I fell down, I woke up, I was Jaime. It was crazy. Yeah, I blacked out into comedy.
Dude, it's impressive in this business when a lot of people get roles. The only roles I have been given on TV and movies, and I've said this before, is from my friends being like, come do this, and then I can do it, and I do a good job. I'm terrible at auditioning.
You hate auditioning? It's a different animal.
You know what? I used to not hate it until I just have never booked anything, and then I'm like, oh, I hate this, and I'm not good at this, and I hate that I'm not good at it. But it is a different animal, one that you have seemed to be able to tame, because I cannot. I actually auditioned for Broad City first season, and it's one of my worst audition stories, because when you audition for something, and let's say you have a phone call in the script, you get a phone call, you just bring in your phone. Like, you don't need to mime a phone. Just you have a phone with you. Or if you have a purse in the scene, just bring in your purse. That's like kind of like a thing that they tell you when you're auditioning. Like, if you have the thing, use it. But mime anything that's too big to bring in, like a car, whatever. So I have my phone because I have to answer a question and the thing. And I have my phone in my hand. And when I get a call, I do this with my hand, and I'm holding the phone. And I remember Abby stopping me and going, and they're like friends of mine, and they're like, "Hey, Nikki, you can just use your phone." Oh yeah. Okay, great.
Wrong hand.
Like, but using this as it was just. I just knew that I had flubbed it so terribly.
Did you book it?
No, no, and they were right to not give it to me because I was wrong for it.
But I totally hear you though. When it's friends though, I get way more nervous when it's like a director that suggested me or whatever, because I'm like, now I need to make them look good, you know. And I don't work like, pressure is not a good point to like. It's already pressure enough particularly when you audition in LA, where you like walk into a room and there's like, I don't know, 12 better looking versions of you like about to audition for the same thing. I was like, I just want to say Colgate, you know what I'm saying? Or like, I just want to be in this Taste Bud commercial, you know? And so to me, like, the less pressure, I sort of learned eventually that like, I don't know, man. It's all make believe anyway, and like the only thing I can do is be completely myself, or like be true to myself in not a weird way. And so I made weird choices that I would find funny, and more often than not, people were like, "Oh, that's weird and different. Maybe we'll just give it another shot," or "Please leave my office, never talk to me again."
Yeah,
which might happen.
It? We had some actor in here saying kind of the same thing, that when they go into an audition, they do whatever they do. They're not trying to be something else or what another actor would do or what the people in the room might want from them. They're like, I'm just going to do what I can do, and then at least I'll have that when I leave.
The thing about, trained actors, right? Like, there's this auspice in drama school that you have to really live the life of your character and like show everything. And it's like you have 30 seconds in a room with somebody, or you have 3 minutes. You can't like do a 3-act play about it. You just have to take a snapshot and be like, this is the weird choice that I believe the character works with. And then once you book it, you can go into the research and make it super different. But it's just about a snapshot, you know?
Yeah. Now,
acting is snapshot. Auditioning is snapshot. It's titled one of my memoir. Yeah.
Sam Rockwell said what you guys are saying.
Yeah?
Yeah. That he has said what you guys are saying, to just like do your own thing and be
over the best. Yeah.
It's just, but do
can be
you audition for stuff, Irene?
Not that much.
It's
the one thing I did get, I was like, well, and then I got it. But I was very kind of like Arturo. I was just like, well, I'm just gonna make these choices, and if they like it, cool, and if not, whatever.
You just said Arturo so coolly. I don't even want to try to say it as it should be said, because it's so humiliating how bad I am.
Try.
No, Arturo.
You roll the first R,
so
not
seen.
the
I feel so seen, so spoken about. I am here.
Arturo, you're from Guatemala?
Yeah,
you moved. You were born and raised there.
This would be a bad time to mention I'm just Scottish. Like I've just been coasting on.
Well,
like,
I'm here to tell you, I have the papers, and you are from. Like I announced,
you all are the Scotsman. Yeah. You're older artisan.
When did you move here?
I was 19, about to turn 20.
And what was it? Always your dream to move here? Was that the goal, or when?
Yeah, I mean, when I was like, so I had this acting teacher that went to Juilliard in Guatemala, and around 16, she was like, I think you have something, you know? And I was like, that's encouraging. And she's like, I think you should go study in an acting conservatory
She's like, I think you have mono.
Yeah, I was like,
also a gift.
I was like, you're coughing a lot, you know? Mono and a gift, cooties and not good things. But so I auditioned for this school. I was in law school in Guatemala at 19, and I auditioned for the school called the American Academy of Dramatic Arts. And I came to New York, and I was just like, oh, yeah, this is the place. Because in Guatemala, sort of like, my sense of humor has always been sort of different, like way more sarcastic or like self-deprecating. And sort of like my pace is sort of always, I felt, was faster than sort of like what comedy was offering there or drama was offering there. And I like came to the city where everybody's like a complete psychopath and like way more neurotic than me. And I was like home, you know?
Oh, wow.
And so it was a mixture. I don't know how I would have made it if I started in Los Angeles.
Really?
No, I had no idea how you go about it. Here, I did theater, Craigslist jobs, you know, short films, and eventually I got a manager that charged me 25% of all my income.
Yeah.
And then eventually you get a better one and a better one. But in LA, like I don't know where I would have started. In New York, I felt like sort of rewarded the gritty off Broadway, like black box theater that you force your friends to come and pay $25 and they don't have to watch you like shame, you know, like in front of a dark screen.
Was there ever a moment where you go, I'm not going to make it, this is the hardest thing I've ever done? Or did you always have the sense it's going to happen?
I've just sort of always been overtaken by the sense of like blinding optimism, you know?
Yeah.
And also like I'm very loved by my, this is just going to sound weird, but like because I'm so different, they're all psychiatrists and therapists and professionals, because I was always so different, you know, because I'm like, I want to be an actor. They had no choice, but they don't understand me, so they had no choice but to just like love me as I am, right?
Yeah.
And so when you grow up like that, like I walk into auditioning rooms just like, oh, you just don't know that I deserve to be loved, but like you just don't know it yet. I just need to show you. So I would go to like these 6
confidence.
So I would go to these 6-hour, you know, open call auditions for a play in the freezing cold. But I knew all I knew was 5 minutes in the room with somebody. At least I would make an impression. You know?
Had great confidence, and that was given to you. Do you feel like your parents like built that up?
You fake it. You fake the confidence.
Okay.
You like psych yourself out. Like your inner monologue can go one of two ways. You can either go like, I suck, I'm a piece of shit, like, you know, and you still feel those things when you're telling yourself, I'm great, I have a story to tell. Like it's like when you're talking to your best friend. Sometimes I read it somewhere and it's like, when you're in your inner monologue, just pretend like you're talking to your best friend.
Yes.
Like, what would you say to them?
Yep.
And then sort of that, even if you don't believe it, you're like, well, this best friend in my head, like, sort of like believes in it, so I might as well fake it.
Talk to yourself like someone else. It's everything, and you're right
Arturo
about
Castro,
thought.
The Secret. Yes.
Yeah, it is that.
El secreto de Arturo Castro.
It really is.
I don't know why my voice goes deep every time I speak Spanish. I don't know what
hot.
happens. We did Telemundo last week. Yeah.
It happens to me
I was
too.
telling her that I went to do like the Latin press last week.
Yeah.
And I went to the Telemundo, and it's like the mothership of all things Latin.
Yeah.
It's like this massive IKEA complex, And I was like, is this where I was made? Like, is this like Gattaca, Like, it was like this massive warehouse, and here's the festive, like, carnival stuff, and here's and I was like, I haven't been this festive in a long time,
Yeah.
And it was like, papi, okay, papi. And I was like, am I Mr. 305 right now? Because I will be if you want me to,
Was it so fun to do that?
It was fun. It was interesting. It was,
Is your family freaking out right now?
Yeah. But
or have they had a while to like kind of absorb all of your
they started
success?
freaking out once they saw, because there's like these big murals in Williamsburg by where I live. Sometimes like I'll just stand there and just point at it. No, I'm joking. But
no,
because
you
I've been
have to do that.
I've been traveling so much, to promote the show, that it's been the first time that I'm like staying put to see it. But like when the murals came, they got really emotional because they're like, "What is life?" And I'm like, "I don't know," because now it's unwritten. Like, I feel like in this industry, right? People that don't work in this industry and suddenly you start getting a little success, they can't really relate. So all they can do, like, I can't go to my mother for advice of like, how do you run a writer's room, or like, how do you like, so for them eventually it started being like, well, I don't know what this is all about, but like, go ahead, we trust you, like, but they were really excited. Yesterday we took a boat around the thing, and now everybody's crying. My mom's probably crying right now. I'm crying inside. It's insane. But yeah, it's just a really exciting, surreal time.
Oh, it's so good. Alternatino is the name of the show. It debuts tomorrow. Make sure you set your DVRs and get a season pass. It is a hilarious sketch show. Are you so proud of it? Are you
so
just
proud
do you
of it,
look back
man.
at it and you're like, because you didn't, when you get the show, I mean, you had done the web series, but it's nothing like having a show. I mean, it's scary. You're like, can I even do this? I mean, how was assembling a writer's room? How was it how was it putting together a show?
Nobody teaches you how to be a boss, man. It's so weird because as I said, I was like just like this scrappy actor, like living in this basement in Brooklyn for a long time. Even the first couple of seasons of Broad City, I was still sort of like living in the basement, like doing a bunch of because it's basic cable, man. But
basic cable, people think that you're on TV in a couple episodes and then you're living this luxurious life, and it is not.
Not at first, not at all. But like but then you suddenly become like you're this scrappy sort of actor person, and then suddenly it's like, all right, here's 70 people, like, or here's like 8 people that you of a room you have to run, and you still think that you're just equals or whatever, but you have to remember that you're their boss, right? Or not in the sense of like they take your opinion very seriously, right? And so you can't just be like, oh, well, I don't think that worked. Then, well, that didn't work, dude. Just like take it back. I'll do something else. Because then, you know what I'm saying? Like you just have to be really constructive in how you speak to people.
Yep.
And nobody teaches you that part of it. Also, I learned that like empathy goes sort of one way when you're in a position about like nobody cares if you're like, oh my God, oh man, I had a hard weekend or whatever. You're like supposed to like show up. And what I learned from Abby and Lana actually was like, all you can do is be cool, dad, right? You just got to be like constructive, and you got to like show up and be but immediately.
And you set the tone too for like everyone's mood. If you
can't be in a
show
bad
up and
mood.
you're in a bad mood, everyone feels it, and then everyone's in a bad mood. That's something I've had to check on this show because I do this every morning, and some days I'm in a I'm like depressed, or I woke up on the wrong side of bed, like literally, because I sweat at night, so I have to sleep on different sides of bed throughout the night. And then I walk in, and because I'm in a stinky mood, everyone feels it, and then it just sets a tone that it's just shit. And I'm really trying to acknowledge exactly what you're saying, which is like you don't realize how much you're used to being one of the. You're used to being you. You don't realize people look to you for the leadership.
Exactly.
And when you go, oh, I don't like that joke, people are like,
oh my God, does he not
the boss
like me?
not likes the joke.
Exactly. As opposed to my friend doesn't like the joke. It was constructive.
Yes,
right?
yes, it changes. But a thing that I found when I had my own show was that I felt bad leaving the writers to like write. Like I felt bad being like, well, they're here all day writing. I need to be there all the time. And the truth of the matter was, no, but I'm shooting the show. I'm promoting the show. I need to go rest and like do other things, but I'd be like, I'm gonna go home and leave my writers here working.
Yeah, it feels really
That's
weird.
not okay. And everyone was like, you have to get on board with this or the show's not gonna work because you're gonna be exhausted.
Yeah, and also like having you around sometimes becomes a little more of a pressure thing, you know?
Yes,
and so
you need to leave them.
But it feels guilty. You like feel like, am I just like taking somebody else? Like somebody's like writing, I can, you know, but then you're just like, yeah, you have to get into the rhythm of it. But what wound up happening was like, it was such a great learning experience as a human of like, yeah, dude, like nobody needs to like, you can affect everybody around you, whether you're in a position of leadership or not, right? So like try to check yourself. And I have to do this constantly. Even when we were shooting the show, we're shooting 12-hour days in the middle of the dead of winter. We wrote the show in LA, so me and my writers forgot there's a thing called weather.
Oh, God.
So we have these Puerto Rico sketches, you know, where I'm like in shorts and like it's just like frostbite, you know. Yeah, and just I do this Pitbull sketch, you know, where he's like, basically he has a dark night of the soul because somebody called him a douchebag, and he's like, "Am I a douchebag? But I love Bud Light Lime. I want to dale 100% with my whole heart." And he's like, but anyway, he's got this moment where he's on the beach and just like, you know, looking at a picture of his parents, which are all bald and have a like soul patch. And I'm in a bathroom. I'm in a silk robe, and it's like January 17th in Long Island, and my mouth stops moving because I'm like, I can't keep moving, you know. And so my assistant on the show, he has a great way to like deal with all this, because I was like, dude, you know what? I don't want to go to the wardrobe show. Okay, I'm cold. Let him come to me. Like, oh, cool. 70 people came together to make your dream come true. But like, yeah, let's be an asshole. Let's do that. And I was like, you son of a bitch, let's go. You know?
Yeah.
And so you just have to check yourself constantly. At least once a day, I had this moment of like, wow, like these are my dreams come true. Make like in front of me. These 70 people are here. Like donating their talent and time. So at least once a day I had a moment of extreme gratitude, you know? And so it's sort of eventually you're like, all right.
But then someone brings you a coat and wraps it around you and brings you some hot cocoa, and you are treated like it is.
It's so nice.
Having your own show is so nice.
So
I
nice.
miss it so much.
You can have mine.
I
mine.
had two, and I have this show and I get treated like a princess, but when you have your own TV show, there's like 100 people just like catering to your whim. I mean, like when you are on production and you have everyone, it is like, oh, we got to wrap. Oh, you were just such a joy to have. I could talk to you all day.
Thank you so much.
Arturo Castro, check out his new show, Alternatino. You're going to love it so much. It premieres tomorrow on Comedy Central at 10:30 p.m. on Comedy Central. Again, check it out. Get a season pass. Subscribe now. Do it. Irene, thank you so much for being here. Irene Morales, follow her on Instagram, Twitter, everything. Irene Morales, hilarious comedian. Love her so much. Thank you guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Squirt, squirt.
Bye-bye.
Where are you getting money for shoes?
They're not expensive. I don't buy $300 shoes.
Those are $50?
Around there.
Oh, really?
They're $69. And
Those
where am
are
I getting
really
money
cute.
from you?
I mean, I know, but like you're getting new shoes every week.
I know. Stop paying me.
Trying. Okay, talk to me about these shoes.
I bought these. These are Young 96, YUNG, so you know they're cool.
Let's switch shoes real quick just to check on us.
You want to see how they feel?
No, you don't need to untie them. Those are clearly slip-offs.
These are 9s because they run very big.
Okay. They fit a little loose. Those fit
These are
perfect.
very tight on me. Mm-hmm. But they're also they're turtle. What is that on the front? What's that called?
How do you feel about having pink on your shoe?
That's an interesting point because the old me would not enjoy it.
Right.
But I don't care anymore. Also, it's a very little amount of pink.
Yeah. Who helped you pick these out? Girlfriend?
I sent pictures to her. These are the ones that I bought.
You said what?
Pictures.
You sent her
Yeah.
containers of water
with the
and
shoes
tea?
in them.
Okay.
Because I wanted to show her that they
That makes
look
more
good no matter
sense.
where they're at. I sent her a picture of these and the other ones. And she chose these, and so I got them. And I know but they look good with the blue jeans.
They're gonna look good for 2 more days, and then they're gonna be.
But this is the thing;
disgusting.
they're off-white, so they will last longer. That's the point. I was gonna get the Wave Runners, Kanye's, but those are.
But you realize you're poor.
Well,
How much are Kanye's Wave Runners?
I don't know. I didn't even ask. I think they're probably like $300.
Yeah, that's too much to spend
Yeah.
on sneakers that you're gonna destroy. Those are cool. I would wear those. They do look like Emily Ratajkowski's shoes. Like they look like they look feminine. But I like that they look feminine because
I chose that I'm masculine with my femininity, being open to it, I think.
And you're not coming right now, much like a
Whore.
woman.
Oh. Yeah.
Hey guys, you just watched a clip from my radio show, You Up with Nikki Glaser, that you can hear every morning on Comedy Central Radio, SiriusXM channel 95, 10 to 12 Eastern. And you can check out a clip here on YouTube every Tuesday.
Or check out my podcast.
No!